Okay, we're going to call the October 18th, 2022 Altadena Town Council meeting to order. It is 7:01. We're going to, tonight we're going to do something a little different. Yeah, we're going to do a historical acknowledgement instead of the flag salute. So we're going to acknowledge our land and those that it really belonged to. So, Victoria, can you introduce our guests?
I sure can. Good evening, community members, council members, those that are at home and in the room with us. As an extension of our gratitude to Sharon Alexander Dreyfus, whose family owned a 1-acre property in my census tract 4601 for 100 years, and who generously and appropriately gifted the property back to the Gabrielino Tongva people of California, I am honored to introduce Courage Escamilla, who will offer historical acknowledgement this evening. Courage is an Indigenous actor, activist, and proud son of Rudy and Sally Escamilla. He is honoring his family from the Oglala, Lakota, and the lands. I want you to know, Courage, I pronounced these earlier, now I'm running through them. And the lands of the say it. Thank you. By delivering Altadena's first historical acknowledgement. With great respect to his Tongva relatives, he has written a heartfelt commencement to lead us to an undeniable truth about our history and how we may move forward as a better informed community.
Ambetuaste, matakayepe na motakalapi, hitika machiapiolo, nahalaka chashe chashka umbigi machiapiolo, oglala na taromare ikche wechashe we hakeke amatahayolo. My name is Courage, and my family is of the Tarahumara and Lakota, originally from Nebraska. And I absolutely love this town, and I am very, very happy to be here now. I prepared something that I feel I would kind of personally see it as an upgrade to like a land acknowledgement. I think how we've moved in the direction of a land acknowledgement is great to not forget who came before. But I think it's more important for us to not forget what happened and use that context to understand where we are now and where we could go to best pay respects to who we used to be by being a better version of ourselves now. So I wrote this in respect of doing that. Our city resides on land that once was home to the Hahamanga. Named after their chief, they were but one of many thriving, self-sustaining Tongva villages, like the Coanga and Topanga. Other Tongva names you may have heard. The Tongva here would soon be known as the Gabrielino, because once the closest of 21 Californian missions was built by Spanish colonizers in 1771, they would forever be associated with their abduction and forceful relocation to the Gabriel mission. These missions were for the purpose of conscripted slave labor, imposing European culture, and conversion to Christianity by Catholic missionaries. In the words of Franciscan missionaries, their attempt was to eradicate the ills of Tongva society through religious indoctrination, labor, restructuring gender norms, and violence. Neophytes, they were called, were banned from practicing their culture or returning to village life. 3 out of 4 newborns did not live to be 2 years old. Torture, starvation, disease, and excessive physical labor were commonplace. 25,000 recorded baptisms took place. Over 6,000 Tongva men, women, and children are now buried underneath the Gabriel mission where it stands today, roughly 8 miles south of here. Between 1789 and 1848, over 90% of the Tongva population had been lost. In 1881, this land would then come to be known as the city of Altadena. Over 3,900 descendants of the Tongva people survive today, who are still fighting for federal tribal recognition by the US government. This is the hard, clear, and undeniable truth about our history. Justice is betterment. Betterment begins with humility. Humility begins with truth, and truth is not always flattering. If any of us admitted to having a difficult past without ever going into detail, can we really say that we've truly acknowledged our mistakes, who we used to be, and how our present way of life likely carries aspects of our older self? You can never take a marginalized people out of their historical context and how it led to their current condition. I ask that if you are with me in the spirit of this first ever historical acknowledgement, that you join me in remembering and teaching the history. Let it color your world and shape our commitment to be more understanding, more informed, and more just with each other. We can do so much better. So let's start right now and do so together. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. That was really special. Thank you. Okay, we're going to have our roll call. Dorothy, Wong.
Thank you, Chair Jones. Good evening, everyone. We're doing our roll call, starting with Councilmember Knapp.
Present.
Thank you. Councilmember Lyford.
Present.
Thank you. Councilmember Billy Malone.
Present.
Thank you. Councilmember Arnzen.
Excused.
Councilmember Wong, that's me. Councilmember Petrie.
Excused.
Councilmember Dr. Thomas.
Present.
Thank you. Councilmember O'Malley.
Present.
Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Thank you. Councilmember Aranda.
Hello.
Thank you. Councilmember Sutherland. Here. Thank you. Councilmember Peck.
Here.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilkins.
Excused.
Thank you. Councilmember Cauliflower.
Here.
Thank you. Councilmember Vega.
Here.
And Councilmember Markison.
Excused.
Okay, so I think that's 4 not here. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on quickly here. We have our officers' report. Oh, excuse me, I'm moving on too quickly. Okay, we need to approve our agenda for tonight. Victoria?
Good evening, community, both here and watching at home, fellow council members. The Altadena Town Council Executive Committee met on Tuesday, October 11th to set the agenda for tonight's meeting. The agenda was circulated to you on Friday the 15th. I have received no changes. Are there any changes?
I'm just looking at the agenda right now. And for the presentation, you have Tony Wardlaw.
I meant Scott.
I think it's either Scott Wardlaw or Tony Ward. So just.
It's Scott. Sorry, Scott, my apologies. Any other changes? Okay, with the,
We
go
have
ahead.
a change.
Go ahead.
Sorry, can we just add a quick census tract report 460301?
Only if it's not 9 o'clock.
Time permitting.
Time
Okay.
permitting.
460301. So that would fall under general public comment, and prior to adjournment, it would become number 8, with adjournment being number 9. So, any other changes? I move that the agenda be accepted as amended.
The agenda has been motioned and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Abstaining? Motion accepted as amended. Okay, we're going to move on to the chairman's report. I'm the chairman, and I have a very condensed report. First of all, I want to thank Courage for that. That was amazing that I just heard, and it really shot off light bulbs for me. So thank you. And I didn't know what to expect, but that was really great. I wanted to say that, and I want to encourage everybody. Tonight we have our candidates here for our election, and I just want them to know that the next 2 years are going to be very challenging for the town council. They have things coming up that are probably some of the biggest land items, land use things in the works. So just know that your work will be cut out for you when you're here. We cannot no longer have anyone not working on the town council. We will all be working. So I just wanted to bring that forward. Thank you. Okay, we'll do Vice Chair, Victoria Knapp.
I'm yielding my time tonight, and
Thank you for that. Okay, and Nick, our recording secretary, is not here to approve our minutes. Nick has a family emergency. So I'll move for approval of our September 2022 minutes.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions?
Yes.
2 abstentions. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the minutes are accepted as were presented with the 2 abstentions. Thank you. And now we have our treasurer's report. Quickly.
Thank you, Chair. For the period from August 30th, 2022 to September 28th, 2022, we began with $898.56 in the bank. There was a $13.99 withdrawal for GoDaddy, a $12 service fee, and our final remaining balance is $872.57. And I would like to remind everybody that the Altadena Town Council is a volunteer organization that depends on the donations of the community to keep going. And if you would please, feed the can.
That's how we make our budget, is with that can, so we appreciate it. And also, if there's public comment tonight, we forgot to tell you there's public comment cards on the back, on the piano. Fill it out and pass it to Billy, and we'll get those toward the end of the meeting. Thank you. Okay, so now we have our correspondence secretary, Dorothy.
Thank you, Chair Jones. So it's just some quick highlights on our altadena.towncouncil.org website. You can find as much of the latest information out there as possible. If you have any questions, concerns, my email address is Dorothy, dorothy.wong@altadena.towncouncil.org. And just some quick highlights to round us out, the end of October. We've had some great events so far, and let's continue to support our local businesses. The special 1026 Farmers Market every Wednesday will be Halloween themed. Yes, Councilmember Peck, approval anyway. Halloween activities will be at the park, fun for the entire family. There's going to be pumpkin carving, music, and so much more, arts and crafts. Again, the Altadena Farmers Market needs us, and that's from 4 to 7. And then just quickly, rounding out our calendar, you're going to hear from our variety of community reports on various activities going on. Pasadena Unified School Board District 1 Candidate Forum is on the 19th, which is tomorrow. Also, Amigos de los Rios is looking for volunteers for greening the Altadena Sheriff's Station, also on 10/22. Dance for America at Farnsworth Park, 10/22. And you'll hear about all of the other things happening. Enjoy Halloween. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have someone special here tonight, and our guest is very special to me. I've known him a long time, and I've known him as far back as when he was a council member and mayor for the city of Pasadena. He's always been an ally. He's still an ally to me. I can always depend on him for an honest answer, even when the answer is a tough answer. He worked diligently to make sure the city of Pasadena's managers were treated fairly during salary negotiations. He was an ally. He made sure that we got what we deserved to get, and not all council members did that. He was never afraid to get into good trouble for us, so I appreciate him. Even today, if I call him, he answers my calls, and he gives me a straight answer if I have a question. Prior to his election to the Assembly, Chris Holden served almost 24 years as a Pasadena City Council member and mayor. He was the youngest council member at age 28, and the second African American to serve as mayor. Throughout his years of public service, he has been a champion in creating jobs, preserving vital services, and strengthening the economic vitality of the San Gabriel Valley and expanding the light rail. So we welcome Chris Holden, Assembly Member Chris Holden, for the first time to give to our meeting, right, Chris? Is that right? Is it the first time?
It's been a long time.
Okay. So,
I remember when you spoke to me before.
Yeah, that was before my time. Yeah, okay. So tonight he's here to give us a legislative update. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chair Jones, and to Council. Certainly, we applaud your leadership and your commitment to community and service, and we know that these are always difficult times when you're trying to make sure that you're, especially for Altadena as a part of a county system and regional planning system that sometimes doesn't always get it right, and it's hard to get them to focus on the micro issues of a community that's as rich and important as Altadena. And I want to thank you for inviting me here this afternoon, this evening, and certainly to the community for being here. It's my pleasure and my responsibility, quite frankly, to share with you just what we have been doing in Sacramento and how hopefully we've been making a positive difference in the lives certainly of all Californians, but certainly to the extent that we're doing a job that's making a difference here in Pasadena and Altadena. And this district, just so you will know, the redistricting has shaped it a little bit different, not too much. We lost South Pasadena, and we picked up La Canada Flint Ridge and Bradbury, and now the district extends into San Bernardino County, all the way into Rancho Cucamonga, so the 210 freeway, everything north of the 210 to the 15. And then we go up into Wrightwood and Phelan on the other side. So it's I'm burning up a lot of gas, but it's all good. Let me just let you know that, first of all, this has been a productive legislative session. After chairing the Assembly Committee on Utilities and Energy for the last 5 years, in January, the Speaker appointed me to be chair of Appropriations Committee. As bills came before me, I operated with the mindset that my colleagues had done their due diligence, and as the final step before moving along to the Assembly floor, I was asked to evaluate the worth of each bill to every Californian. During my first year as chair, I facilitated 2,500 discussions, individual discussions, to find solutions that work to benefit every Californian. We started 2022 still trying to rehabilitate and heal from the ongoing challenges of COVID-19. The taxpayers and ratepayers have voiced their needs and concerns, and both the legislature and administration have brought forth laws in an effort to protect and uphold the livelihood of the communities. I'm proud to say that this year we have made a massive multi-year commitment to the state's infrastructure, funding schools, higher education, broadband infrastructure, and a clean transportation system to assure California's success for generations to come. In June, Governor Newsom released the state's approved budget for 2022. After more than 2 years of living through this pandemic nightmare, it is clear that disadvantaged communities are disproportionately affected, whether directly through higher cases, hospitalizations, and deaths, or indirectly through lower education quality due to lack of resources. The budget makes unprecedented investments in state infrastructure, $47 billion to enhance the state's transportation system, promote energy innovation and reliability, and advance statewide housing goals, support the K-12 and higher education segments, and to make the state more resilient to climate change. The governor's approved budget provides over $17 billion in relief to millions of Californians to help offset rising costs and reflects an accelerated minimum wage increase effective January 1st of 2023. At the centerpiece of the budget is a refund of up to $1,050 that will benefit millions of Californians based on income level and the size of household. The relief package also includes increased grants for the state's lowest income families and individuals and additional funding for food banks. In an effort to boost our local economies, an early action package enacted in February of this year took the following steps to support small businesses. First, it restored the use of business tax credits and net operating loss 1 year earlier than planned to continue to invest in companies that fueled our recovery. Second, it exempted amounts received by businesses from the Federal Restaurant Revitalization Fund and Shuttered Venue Operators grant program from the state income tax and allowed normal deductibility for the expenses related to the grants. And lastly, it provided an additional $150 million one time for the California Small Business COVID-19 Relief Grant Program bringing the total investment to approximately $4.2 billion. $22.7 billion general fund and $1.5 billion in federal funds. I applaud the governor for recognizing and meeting our communities where they are needed, and I look forward to working with him to ensure just, equitable, and safe recovery. The budget also includes substantial investments to address homelessness and behavioral health challenges and includes funding to make neighborhoods safer. It also supports additional protection from the impacts of wildfire and drought. And being a foothill community, that's very important. As we continue to experience the effects of climate change like catastrophic wildfires, among other disasters, the governor has committed $6.6 billion over multiple years for energy innovation and reliability projects, demonstrating his continued commitment to reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. I look forward to working with the governor and my colleagues in the legislature and to save lives in our economy while committing to shared priorities like education, affordable housing, and the environment. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act is the largest long-term investment in our infrastructure and competitiveness in nearly a century. For decades, infrastructure in California has suffered from seismic lack of investment. The American Society of Civil Engineers gave California a C- grade on its infrastructure report card. The historic infrastructure investment jobs will make life better for millions of California residents. The bipartisan infrastructure bill is exactly what our country needs right now to create jobs and to fix our transportation and water systems. I'm optimistic that the billions that will come to California can indirectly help secure funding to extend the Gold Line to Claremont and Montclair. Extending the Gold Line remains a top priority for me and many of my colleagues in the San Gabriel Valley. The extension will connect two large counties and bring much needed relief to one of the busiest commute corridors in the country. The sooner we can compete and complete the Gold Line extension, the sooner we can clean our air, curb climate pollution, and relieve traffic congestion in Los Angeles and San Bernardino County. Since being elected to the Assembly in 2012, I've had the privilege to author and co-author more than 100 bills that were signed into law. These legislative victories stem from conversations and continued collaboration with members of the community to address concerns and bring about positive efforts towards finding solutions to improving our society. Social justice issues continue to be a priority for me as well. This year, Governor Newsom signed my bill, AB 1604, the Upward Mobility Act of 2022. This bill modifies state civil service examinations and appointment practices to increase the diversity of applicant pools on employment lists and determine areas of compliance for non-merit related audits, all to promote the successful achievement of upward mobility goals for underrepresented state employees. Other key social justice bills I crafted and the governor signed included 2644, custodial interrogation, which prohibits an officer from using threats, physical harm, deception, or psychological manipulation interrogation tactics when questioning a person 17 years of age or younger about the commission of a felony or misdemeanor. Many would have thought that was already a law. AB 2644 closely follows newly elected laws in Illinois, the first state to pass legislation that prohibits police officers from using deceptive interrogation tactics on youth, and similar law passed in Oregon. AB 2773, effective January 1st, 2024, this bill requires a peace officer making a traffic or pedestrian stop to state the reason for the stop before asking investigatory questions. The only exception is if the officer reasonably believes that withholding the reason for the stop is necessary to protect life, property from imminent harm. I also recognize that law enforcement and the communities that they serve must work together to address crime. This session, I voted to support legislation to stop the theft of catalytic converters and to direct more resources to the Regional Property Crimes Task Force led by the California Highway Patrol and the State Department of Justice. In addition, I voted to make it easier to prosecute organized retail theft by expanding the jurisdiction of the state DOJ. AB 1613 allows the prosecution of crimes wherever stolen merchandise is recovered, even if the theft offense occurred in another county. I was encouraged that the governor accepted my request to ensure essential workers in the fast food sector have a seat at the table to address wage issues by signing my bill, AB 257, on Labor Day, making it the first bill of its kind in the nation. These past years of the pandemic exacerbated the already growing affordable housing crisis. More people, families, and individuals found themselves without a roof over their heads. Many of our fellow Californians suffered job and income losses. My staff alone assisted thousands of constituents to access the rent and mortgage relief program and to secure their unemployment payments. My colleagues in the legislature also experienced the increased calls for help. As a society, it is our obligation to continue to seek solutions to address this seemingly intractable problem. At the state level, it is our responsibility to devise approaches statewide to ensure all jurisdictions bear their fair share. This session, I supported legislation like AB 2011, the Affordable Housing Act of 2022, that establishes a streamlined approval process for 100% affordable housing in commercially zoned areas and mixed income housing along commercial corridors. This legislation will open up commercial corridors throughout California that have had restrictions on housing development. I also supported AB 2097 residential commercial parking requirements. This bill does away with minimum automobile parking requirements on any residential, commercial, or other development project as defined that are located within 1/2 mile of public transit. This lowers the cost to building housing while facilitating a move towards sustainability. SB 6, Middle Class Housing Act of 2022, this bill establishes a housing development project as an allowable use within a zone where office, retail, or parking are principally permitted, as so long as the parcel is not adjacent to a property dedicated to industrial use as specified. I welcome your ideas as a community, as a council, to come together and help the state continue to find fair and equitable methods to addressing our housing needs. In the area of education, I've taken steps to remove barriers to dual enrollment access by successfully enacting the College and Career Pathways Act from 2016. This act created a paradigm shift where dual enrollment became accessible to all, and not only the 5% of scholastically advanced students. For the past 5 years, I've introduced legislation annually to ensure dual enrollment opportunities remain available to high school students and schools and community college students. This year, I'm pleased to report that I was successful in winning passage of my bill AB 102, which extended the dual enrollment program indefinitely. Governor Newsom signed the bill to remove the January 1st, 2027 sunset date, allowing the program to now become a permanent component of our high school academic structure. Thank you very much. I also authored AB 2617, which the governor included in his budget on dual enrollment. It would allocate $500 million for local educational agencies to strengthen and expand access for high school students to participate in dual enrollment opportunities, providing youth with accessible head start to their careers. And even though this has been a very successful program, not every family or child is following it. So getting the additional money helps get the information out to let more families know that it exists. For the past few years, I also introduced several measures to address clean air and water. This year, the governor signed AB 2446, my embodied carbon emissions construction materials, which requires the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, to develop a framework for measuring and reducing greenhouse gas emissions associated with new building construction. The California Air Resources Board is to develop the framework by July 1st, 2025. I'm also pleased to report that this session I was able to secure funding of $1.5 million for completion of the Lavinia Trail. These funds will be used for the creation of 2 new trails that will provide public access to the Altadena Crest Trail, Cheney Trail, and the Angeles National Forest extensive network of trails. And if I could, I'd like to ask Kara Myers, Sarah Rascon, Sarah Kevorkian, of the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority and the Camille Dudley and Crystal Nerone of Outward Bound Adventures to join me here to accept the check. This project has been a long time coming. I'm hearing it tonight since 1980 to the 80s. I'm pleased to see the partnership with Outward Bound, whose programs have served the community for more than 60 years, using the outdoors to build leadership among our youth. They will help in building projects and help in building the project and continue to serve as long-term stewards. Congratulations to these organizations. Thanks, Chair, if you'd like. So that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions from the council,
Okay,
if
we
there are
have,
any.
we're on schedule. If we do have time for a couple of questions from the council. Anybody have a question? I have a question. I would just like some money for parks, for my park. So I just want to put that out there again. I put that out all the time.
Statement?
It's kind of
Can
a
I please have
question.
some money for Charles White Park?
Yes.
That's the question.
Yeah.
How much?
I like that. I like that.
$1,000,000. She needs $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep. Well, we will take whatever. We're taking all donations.
What do you,
Here, give him the can.
what do you need?
We're going to
Nobody's asked you that question before.
No. Mm-mm. But we're going to we will be redoing Charles White Park, and we want it done right. It's such just a big area of grass right now.
I will tell you that if you, as a council with staff, can put together what you believe is a budget based on what types of improvements that you're looking to do, I'd say ask for this, and if it comes down somewhere in here. And I will say too that let's do that this year or next year.
Right.
Because the revenue to the state is starting to get a little tenuous, and with the prospects, with an inflationary economy and the prospects of a recession, we're going to probably start tightening the belt a little bit more. So let's see what we can do about
Okay.
getting it
Okay.
under the
I
wire.
appreciate that. And I just a quick statistic, Farnsworth Park is probably 4 or 5 times bigger than Charles White, and they serve the same amount of people.
Wow.
And we got that from the county. So that's the disparity in there. So, okay.
And you got that.
Yeah, she knows. We talk.
Okay. now I'm a part of the conversation.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so that was my plug-in. Anything else? Can we take one from the audience? You must be doing everything right. Okay.
Well, look, I grew up in this community.
Yes,
so-
you did, yes. You went to PHS, though.
I know, but I love Muir and Blair folk. I married a Blair person.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I
Yes,
did,
you
yeah.
She's wonderful.
Thank you so
And
much.
we have a little something. We're not trying to break any rules here.
No.
It's a bag of money. Okay, all right, thank you for that, and we're going to keep moving right along because we have our election candidates here that'll be speaking to us soon. So we're going to have Christmas Tree Lane, and we will have Tony Ward and Scott Wardlaw.
Come on up, Scott.
Oh, it's just Scott.
It's just
Okay.
Scott.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Ann.
Thanks for inviting me to represent Christmas Tree Lane Association tonight. And thank you, everybody on the council and in the community, for your support. We appreciate that very much. We're an all-volunteer group. They need to come down. Christmas Tree Lane Association is an all-volunteer group, and so we exist on the generosity and participation of everybody in the community. So thank you all for that. We have a lot of changes this year. I think one reason Tony Ward's name got put on the agenda was because everybody is so used to him. Almost everybody here has met and dealt with Tony and his wife Maureen. Wonderful people. Unfortunately, they've been involved since, I think, '89 with our group. But unfortunately, they have decided to retire from the board. Not from the organization. They're still out there helping us, but they are no longer, they no longer have the responsibilities of working on the board, and we miss them a lot. But, so I'm Scott Wardlaw, and Tony Ward is gone. But I have brought with us, I was hoping to bring our new foreman. Tony went from being a president, as Maureen was, to the foreman. He was foreman and president, too. Just the life and soul of Christmas Tree Lane. But we have a new foreman whose name is Derek Nowak, and has been a volunteer on the lane since he was 9 years old, and is now only 19. He's a student, freshman at Cal Poly Pomona, and has taken on those large responsibilities of Tony's. And I was hoping that he could be here with us tonight, but his scholarly duties kept him away. But I did bring our treasurer, Steve Rose, who's sitting right back there, and has been instrumental in a number of the changes that we've had. So I'd like to thank him for coming too. Part of our changes are that it's actually a change back to the better. We are, for the first time in 3 years, going to have our tree lighting ceremony event and winter festival. It was mandated in 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic that we could not do that. And last year, we voted, as a matter of public safety, not to have it. This year, we have decided that we will vote, the vote boarded for that, and we are going ahead with the plans. We took several quotes from different companies for the sound and lighting, and we went with a known quantity, which is JCL, who does the Farnsworth Park events, and if anyone attended the productions of Hair over Labor Day weekend for shows of that, same outfit. So we have all the confidence in the world that they'll put on a great event for us. And because this is our postponed centennial, which would have been in 2020, we are hoping that it will be an extra special event. We have added features that we have not had before, so we're hoping everyone comes out and enjoys that. Another thing that has happened is we've been pursuing this for some time, but we finally received our 501c3 status from the IRS. So now if anyone cares to help us out financially, they can write a certain portion of that off. And I'm hoping people will do that. Another idea that we're implementing this year that's new, and I was approached by our own councilman, Billy Malone, with this idea, was a memorial tree on the lane. And that is going to be with the help of Nikki Winslow. Thank you very much, Nikki. The library is going to have the tree that's in a concrete planter at the entrance of the parking lot will be the dedicated tree for a memorial tree. And the idea is that anyone in the community can buy a bulb at Hoopla, a local gift store in Fair Oaks, and that bulb will be dedicated. You can inscribe the bulb. And there is a logbook You can put a dedication in for that person, and it will go up in that particular tree. And there will be a plaque saying that this is the Altadena Memorial Tree, and I'm hoping people will be supportive of that as well. I think it's a terrific idea, Billy, so thank you very much for that. Well, I'm going blank on one other thing I wanted to add, but that's basically our report. Does anybody have any questions for us? Yes, Victoria?
What is the date of the tree lighting?
Thank you. That was one of the things I forgot. It's December 10th. The Winter Festival begins at 3 and ends at 9. And the lighting ceremony itself, when we have a number of local dignitaries up on the stage, starts at 6, as it always does, and ends at 6:30. And we'll have strolling musicians and youth groups singing on the stage or before the ceremony starts. And again, as I said, local dignitaries will be there as well. So I hope you all can come out and support us in that as well. There will be road closures, however, earlier in the day because we have to get everybody in to set up and such. And then that will open up intersection of Mariposa and Santa Rosa, which is Christmas Tree Lane, will open up again at 10 p.m. So basically, it'll be closed to traffic from, I think, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And there is some parking available. Once again, I'm hoping, we haven't confirmed this yet, but I'm hoping Waldorf School will again provide some parking. Other than that, everyone who comes might want to come a little early because they might have to park on the adjacent streets and walk over, but it will only be, a few blocks at that.
Have you reached out to the Altadena Eagles?
They have helped us in the past, but as far as parking in that lot, I have not. In the past, they've had events for that night, so I don't know. They've provided the water for our free hot chocolate in the past.
I'm a member there, so we can.
Can you talk to them? That would be great. If they're free, we would love that.
Yes.
We need all the parking we can get. Because this is apparently, I've been told by numerous sources, I don't know how scientific it is, but it's the largest event in Altadena all year. So we appreciate all the support of anyone that can come out and help us in any way.
How long will the trees remain lit?
I'm sorry, say that again?
How long will they stay lit until?
The past 2 years since we did not have an event, we lit the trees earlier, as some of you may have noticed. It was for the full month of December, which many people loved. This year, because we weren't quite sure early enough if we were going to be able to have the event, we put it back to the traditional time of the second Saturday of December. So it will be 1 week into January, so 3 weeks lit this year. We may go back, it depends on public support, large part of it. We may go back to beginning of December through the first week of January. We'd like to do that, or many of us would like to do that. But this year it will once again be from the second Saturday of December through to the end of the first week of January.
And do you still need volunteers?
We do need volunteers. We were limited before because we could not have more than 10 people because of COVID. And everybody had to be masked. And we did not take high school volunteers who typically come for community service hours and seem to enjoy it. They usually come back. So we were short of those. But we have had people stepping up from the community who have seen our signs. But we can always use new volunteers. And there's no commitment. We work from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays till the job is done. But there is no commitment. If you can only come for a few hours and only on one day and not the next week, that's fine. We appreciate whatever help you can give us.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you all.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
House afterwards?
Yeah, we
No.
don't. Not since COVID. We didn't have. We used to have, Billy's referring to the lunch, we used to have free lunch on top of donuts and hot chocolate and coffee and water. We used to have free lunch at Tony Ward's house in his beautiful patio.
Volunteers.
And we have not done that since COVID, but we're hoping to somehow reinstitute it. Any other questions? No? Well, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Look forward to seeing those lights. Yes. Okay, we're moving on now to our public safety reports. Officer Keller. Bay and Boyd, but there's only two of them. Okay. Okay.
Good evening. We've been away for a couple sessions, so thank you for your patience. We are back. My name is Officer Boyd. This is Officer Keller. We're your community outreach team for the Altadena station. Officer Bay is still with us, but he's has other obligations. Officer Keller is going to give a report based upon the last 2 months, which were the meetings that we missed. So, Officer Keller.
Good evening, Town Council and community members. I'm Officer Keller with California Highway Patrol, part of the COPS team. Glad to see we're meeting in person finally. It's been a long time coming. You've asked for August and September's reports. So for the total TCs in the Altadena area in August, 16 collisions, 4 of the TCs had injuries, a total of 8 parties injured, and there were 5 hit and run collisions. For September, the collisions increased. Total number of TCs, traffic collisions, 21. Traffic collisions with injuries, there were 6 of them. 9 parties were injured, and there were 7 hit and runs. Coming back to the area, I don't quite understand or know the cause behind it. I can only assume with the school and COVID restrictions being lifted, there's more people out, more motoring public. I looked through a lot of the TCs. A lot of them are minor TCs, backing or turns, that minor injuries or minor damage to vehicles. Over the past couple of weeks, I've received numerous calls of concerns with traffic in school areas. A lot of very concerned citizens asking for enforcement, which I will be happy to do. This is my first couple weeks back to the area, so I'm just getting everything organized and situated, and you will be seeing me out and about quite a bit. I do cover Altadena, La Crescenta, La Cañada, Pasadena, San Gabriel school, so I will have a rotation. I would appreciate any comments, concerns. I think everyone has my email, or I can send it out. Shoot me an email, and I will address them as soon as possible and respond, and we can collaborate and try to alleviate any injuries that can come from these collisions. Any questions?
Any questions? I have one. Oh, Dorothy.
So thank you for your service to our community, by the way, and we really appreciated your presence on Walk to School Day, National Walk to School Day. So you guys offer an amazing service to help our youth and our schools. So I don't know if you could just quickly talk about your programs for safety, pedestrian safety, for the actual students. Can you talk about what you offer, like
program-wise?
Yeah, well, we were going to do like our little assembly, like just teaching the kids, looking,
basic safety habits to have parents teach the children while they're young. And the parents taking a role in educating, or we need to educate the parents that have forgot the little things, the importance of looking both ways, using crosswalks. A lot of schools we're seeing parents in a rush, letting the kids out the door, run right between the cars. Our hands are kind of tied with jaywalking. There's certain requirements that a lot of areas, especially around schools, we cannot enforce that citation, but we can educate the parents on how to be safe and the importance of instilling that in their children. And we will be around at the different schools offering programs and presentations from young to old, and doing our part to help out.
I'd say young to wise.
Wise.
Yeah, wise. But yeah, so
they changed the terminology on me.
yeah. So yeah, again, we have a lot of resources that we can dedicate to presenting the educational component of what we do. We have the enforcement side when you guys call in and say, hey, can you put a speed trailer here? We've noticed people not stopping at a stop sign. That's one component of what we do. The other component is educational. We have a lot of resources, grants that we can dedicate to helping the public understand the importance of stopping at stop signs, why it's important to slow down, especially during driving while in school zones. And, we have officers that are trained to put on bicycle safety courses, pedestrian safety courses like you were mentioning, where Officer Keller said we can talk about the importance of, walking on the correct side of the street. You guys all know that you walk in the opposite direction of traffic when you're walking, correct? Mm-hmm. Right. So a lot of our kids don't know that, though. The type of clothing to wear during if you're walking at night, just different things like that. So we do have the ability. If you guys are in need of some of those educational components, they can be at town hall. They can be a neighborhood watch home, a library. We work closely with Glendale, and we've done a lot of presentations geared towards teenagers and driving safe. So we do have a lot of resources available.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I think that's it. But thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for what you do around Jackson. You guys are around Jackson School a lot. I appreciate it. I'm sure Daryl does too. Jackson School. Oh, God, yeah. Okay. Okay, we're going to move on to Altadena Sheriff's Station, Captain Jabari Williams.
How's everybody doing? Thanks for having me here. I'll just start off real fast with some quick crime stats. So property crimes continue to be an issue with the Sheriff's Department here in Altadena. To be honest with you, the total property crimes is actually down 6%, close to 7%. However, we still have a high number or a high increase in property crimes, thefts from vehicles, people breaking into vehicles. Our people stealing cars is actually down, so they're not stealing the cars, they're breaking into them and taking the items. I guess now with the newer cars, they're harder to steal, but people leave valuables that they see. I was just talking to someone today, and just your regular cell phone is like $1,000. That's a high property value. So we just preach, please keep those valuables out of your car best you can. And if you can, park your car in the driveway or in your garage. A lot of our property crimes, as far as breaking into vehicles, are happening on the hiking trails, mainly Eden Canyon parking lot. That becomes a challenge because even though it is in Altadena, it is not technically patrolled by Altadena deputies. It's actually patrolled by Parks Bureau. Still, we do what we can to do our patrol checks in that area, and we are going to work together with Parks Bureau to see if we can combat that issue. Moving on to our more violent crimes, aggravated assaults. They are up for this month 7%, and it's just certain incidents that bring that percentage up. I will say most of them are domestic violence issues where the suspects are identified and arrested. We did have a couple of incidents this month so far as far as shootings. The main one is there was a shooting in Alta, Loma Park about 2 Saturdays ago. Again, that park is patrolled by Parks Bureau. However, we're closer, so we respond to any emergent calls there. And by the time we got there, the persons of interest were gone. It was chaotic, and the deputies did whatever they could to gather information. But that initial response, we didn't get much information at that time as far as evidence concerned and witnesses and suspect description. However, Parks Bureau did a good job. They wrote a very detailed report. Their detective sergeant, used their resources, and they reached out to, I'm hoping, people at the parks, witnesses that were identified, and they continue in their investigation to the point to where it was picked up. The investigation was picked up by the Sheriff's Department's gang unit. It's called OSS. So there must have been some connection there during the investigation that they realized it most likely was gang-related and that it is a solvable crime. So they are taking that investigation. So that's good news on that part. So hopefully we'll have more information in the future as far as that incident. Of course, last month we had a shooting at Fair Oaks Burger on Fair Oaks there. That investigation is still being handled by the station, and it's moving along fairly well. So we'll have more information on that soon. There's a lot I want to tell you, but I just can't. So, a few incidents or events I want to bring to your attention that are coming up. October 27th at between 1 and 3, we're going to have a community conversation. It's Coffee with the Captain, if you want to call it that. It's going to be at Robot Coffee. I understand that's a new coffee shop right there on Lincoln, 3045 Lincoln Avenue. Again, that's going to be a Thursday, October 27th, between 1 and 3. So we'll be there to answer any question the community has for us, and then just have a nice little talk about things going on in the community. Later on that night, there's an event at Farnsworth Park. I believe they have a haunted house, and we're going to piggyback on that and have a trunk or treat where we'll have sheriff cars out there. We'll have candy, and if anybody wants to come by, kids or adults, come by and get some candy. So, and that's going to be at 5, between 5 and 8. Again, that's Thursday, October 27th. And then that's Saturday, October 29th. I think I talked about this last meeting. There's going to be prescription drug take-back day. That's going to be the October 29th between 10 and 2, right in front of the station. So anyone has prescription drugs that they can't use, they want to dispose of them, bring them to the station, we'll dispose of them safely. The DEA is partnering with us on that one. That's all I have for events. I'll take some questions. Oh, I did want to mention this. Most people maybe know at other sheriff stations or other police jurisdictions, the busiest time of year is usually the summer as far as gang violence. Altadena is a little bit different. Our busiest time as far as violent crimes is from now through the holidays. And it's most likely because of memorials or anniversaries of certain events that happened in the past. Maybe another gang member was shot or killed around that time, and they want to have a memorial. While they're having their celebration, someone comes by, and then one thing turns to another. That's our theory on why we believe this is our busiest time of the year. So we are aware of that. The gang unit that does the investigation, like we don't have a gang unit assigned to Altadena Station, but Temple Station, they give us some gang detectives to help us with that. So we're on that, and we're going to try to prevent anything from happening. So other than that, that's it. I'll take some questions. I do want to say one thing on a personal note. Last week, I personally celebrated my 1-year anniversary here at the station. And I'd like to thank, you guys are so nice. I'd like to thank the Altadena Town Council for all your support and all the other groups in Altadena, Rotary Club, Chamber of Commerce, the library, and probably the coolest librarian that I met, Nikki Winslow. And all the other partners, CHP and Fire Department, thank you for all your support. But my biggest thanks I'd like to give to the community because they've accepted me, invited me to their neighborhood meetings, invited me into their communities, and I really appreciate that, so thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, questions now.
Thank you. We're going to ask if you have a question, maybe you can meet with him in the back and ask him, just because we need to move the agenda along. Is that okay with you? And if the council has a question, we can answer it. We can ask. I don't think we have any. Okay. We're okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. He's available. He'll be here. You want to talk to him? Yeah, and any public comment? We haven't got any public comment cards, too, if you have public comment. No? Okay, we're going to move on, and we have Marie Grycan from our fire department, LA County Fire.
Good evening. For the month of September, there were a total of 359 responses in Altadena. 272 of those were for medical calls. We transported 203 patients. Of those medical, 9 were traffic collisions, 1 involving a person trapped. That was at Altadena Drive and Fair Oaks Avenue. It was a 2-car collision. A car got T-boned, and the person trapped from one vehicle, not both of them. We did have 5 fires. Well, actually, we had 4 fires. 2 of them were trash fires. One was a faulty electrical panel, just started smoking. A little bit of fire, but no real damage and no extension into the home. The other one was a loose air conditioning belt that was causing friction, and then that caused it to smoke a little bit. Again, no fire. And then the actual fire that we had was the engine was out doing some inspections, and they saw a column of smoke. And they drove over to where that was, realized it was in Pasadena, so they called Verdugo. They started a full assignment, and our guys were just there doing what they could until Pasadena Fire came over. But it was their fire. It was a multifamily dwelling, 1 unit fully involved with exposures to other units. So they stayed there on mutual aid to assist them for a little while. We had 4 instances of power lines down. And that's it for the report portion. Our safety tip of the month is on trick-or-treating, Halloween, safe Halloween. CHP stole some of my thunder, or actually I'm stealing theirs because they do more with traffic. But we just want to make sure that kids are wearing costumes that are flame resistant and that they stay away from open flames, that they wear light colored costumes, and if they do have a dark costume, to add some reflective tape to it, or add reflective tape to the trick-or-treat bags so that they're visible at night. Make sure they carry flashlights. Cross the streets only at corners and don't cross in between parked cars. Kids have a habit of jumping out in between parked cars. We don't want them to do that. And for the adults, keep your homes well lit and clear of any obstacles that somebody might trip over on their way up the walkway. So that is it, unless there's any questions.
Any questions? No? Okay, thank you. Thank you again. Another report, yep. Okay, we're moving right along here. We have our community reports, and I'm just going to ask everybody, as I always do, be just...
Yes?
Thank you.
All right, good evening. Good to see everyone. I'm Nikki Winslow, the District Director of the Altadena Library District. I knew it was a tight agenda tonight, so I didn't force my standard PowerPoint on all of you. And we'll keep this short. First, I'd like to say I'm so grateful to have had Assembly Member Holden here and can attest to the fact that he can get you money. He got us $250,000 to expand our footprint in the community last year, which we're working really hard to spend. So definitely ask is what I would say. The Altadena Library Board of Trustees has a upcoming vacancy, and we will need to make an appointment to fill that seat. We're accepting applications from anyone who would like to serve on the board and work closely with me, who wouldn't want to, right? For this 2-year unexpired term. Applicants must be at least 18, a resident of Altadena, and registered to vote in Altadena. This unpaid volunteer position involves budgetary and policy oversight, as well as high-level strategic decision-making, which is going to involve the 2 library renovations in these next few years. Interested parties should submit a letter of interest, resume, and completed supplemental questionnaire to me by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, November 9th. We will be holding a special meeting, probably mid to late November, to appoint that person. And the chosen candidate will be sworn in and be a regular board member on Monday, December 19th. So any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Just a quick reminder that our closures in November will be for observance of Veterans Day on Friday, November 11th, as well as Thursday and Friday, November 24th and 25th for the Thanksgiving holiday. So a couple programs I wanted to highlight, and I did bring flyers that are back on the piano. The very well-attended and popular Altadena Poets Laureate season of events continue with 3 remaining events in 2022. This coming Saturday, please join Laureate Peter J. Harris and guest poets for a reading from 11 to 1 at the community room at the main library. On Thursday, November 3rd, Peter Harris will also lead a special program, CU Photos of Joy Writing Workshop at the Bob Lucas Memorial Library. That again is Thursday, November 3rd from 10:30 to 11:30. And then also Saturday, November 19th, special guests will lead a Synergies workshop at the main library at 11 a.m. Already it's our second Saturday of 2022, which is happening Saturday, November 12th. Join us from 7 to 9 in the main library parking lot or inside, depending on the weather, for the Alan Wasserman Jazz Ensemble. So again, join us. They're really fun. And in recognition of Native American Heritage Month in November, we will have displays and all ages programming, including Tina Calderon, a culture bearer of the Gabrielino, Tongva, Chumash, and UM descent. Apologies if I got those pronunciations wrong, which will share stories, songs, and history of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples. That'll take place on Wednesday, November 9th, from 6 to 7:30 in the main library community room. I also wanted to point out that Tina helped us write our district's land acknowledgement statement and has been a great consultant and partner. In addition to that, we have Terry Goodell, who will teach the Altadena community about Native American hoop dance, which he has been sharing with audiences from around the world for more than 50 years. That'll take place on Saturday, November 19th from 11 to 12 on the front lawn of the main library. We have many, many more programs. Please just check out our events page at altadenalibraries.org/events. Quickly, I also wanted to plug our new app in case people aren't aware that we have it. It integrates our digital resources, e-materials, has our events, our library catalog, and many, many more connections to our social media platforms. If you search My Libro on any mobile device, put in Altadena Libraries, you can get started. It's a really great resource in case you aren't aware. My Libro, one word. Yep. Also, I did want to point out that I am planning to do a special presentation at the Town Council's November meeting to update everyone on the 2 library building projects. In addition to that, we're still looking for as much feedback as possible about the 2 upcoming building projects. If you visit our landing page on the website that's dedicated to the projects, you can fill out a survey, which we'd really appreciate. It's altadenalibrary.org/next-chapter. And that's it for me. Unless you have any questions.
No. Oh, okay. We do.
Will the shredding event be rescheduled?
Oh, it is being rescheduled. Thank you. Yeah, Shred Day was supposed to happen last Friday, the 14th, but the van/truck is broken down. As soon as it's fixed, we're postponing and we'll reschedule.
Okay.
Can you just share with the community how much was raised from the Taste of Dena event?
Oh, yes. It was our most successful Taste of Dena, so thank you to everyone who participated. The event raised over $35,000. So, yay.
We should have a Taste of Dena.
And it was really fun, too.
I just want to give you a thank you.
Oh.
Earlier on when Christmas Flame was here and the whole concept of the memorial tree, and it was really easy to get everyone on board. So
Yeah.
community members getting together, the library getting together. So I just want a big thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Hi, Dr. Thomas. I didn't even see you. All right. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. We're going to move on to Sam Estrada, Parks and Rec.
All right, good evening, everybody. First I'll cover all the good stuff. Right. So we do have monthly special events at our parks at Loma Alta as well as at Farnsworth Park. So we just recently had our Hispanic Heritage event on October 14th at Loma Alta. We also have our upcoming Trick or Treat Village on October 26th. as well as the Harvest Festival, which is Thanksgiving. For those that are wondering, it's on November 17th. We will also be providing sports for youth with providing lacrosse as well as soccer. We currently are in need of volunteers, so anybody that is interested in volunteering for those sports, you can come to the park and sign up as a volunteer to help assist with coaching. We also need referees as well. So it's for youth, and it's going great. We have brought it out from the pandemic, so it's looking good. Cheer is something that we also brought back for Loma Alta, so the program is back at Loma Alta twice a week. And our Tiny Tot program as well returned, and we are at capacity, so it's 3 to 5 year olds, and they meet Monday through Thursday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So it's great to have brought that program back after 3 years. We also do free basketball clinics for youth, as well as our contract classes. We have tennis and jump rope classes. Monday through Friday from 2:30 to 5:30, we have our after school Everybody Plays program along with free snack. And we have our Teen Hour Spot program Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. At Farnsworth Park, we have our special event programs, as I mentioned. So they also had their Hispanic Heritage event on October 13th, and we'll be having their Trick or Treat Village on the 27th of October. So that is also in collaboration with the sheriffs, as the captain mentioned. So that'll be on the 27th of October from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. So looking forward to everybody coming out for that, as well as the Loma Alta one on October 26th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. So we'll be giving out candy and contests and games and everything for family and friends and everybody to join in. Also at Farnsworth, they have their Everybody Plays program Monday through Friday from 2:30 to 5:30, along with the free snack. And we have our free pickleball programming. Tremendous courts that we have there. If you haven't visited, they're full if you haven't come out. So there's probably about 40 to 50 people every single time I look at the courts. And then those that haven't seen it, we also had the playground completion. It was an outstanding project that went very well throughout the summer, and we're glad that we all now have everybody can be able to play on the new apparatuses, and it's a lot of fun and seeing the kids and the families out there. And then at Charles White, not a whole lot to report yet, but we did finish the project restroom. So the projects were enhanced just because they were in some pretty bad shape. So now that they've been completed, we also have the project that's going on at Loma Alta, so that should be completed soon as well. So that's just a part of a project that the department is working on across LA County to improve the restrooms for the public. And then, as the captain did mention, we did unfortunately have a shooting at Loma Alta Park a couple of Saturdays ago. Fortunately, nobody was injured. We did have staff on duty at the time of the shooting, and fortunately, none of our staff were injured, but we were able to assist the sheriffs in their investigation, so it is ongoing at this time, so I can't really share anything about it, but they are in communication with us. Programs have been going on, and we've been operating as normal. Kids have been coming to our park. Our playground has still been operational at Loma Alta. We're fighting through this or overcoming this incident since it did happen in broad daylight. But we're moving forward from it. It's something that's unfortunate, but we're resilient in Parks and Recreation, and we're going to overcome that. So we're just grateful that nobody was hurt, and we just are sympathetic to those that were there when it happened and understand that it's something that can be traumatic, especially for the little kids that were in the playground. So, but our staff are understanding, and we're there to be supportive and provide safe programming for the public in moving forward. And so we're looking to provide these safe special events at Loma Alta, at Farnsworth, and so it's going to be a lot of fun the rest of this year. We have special events for the community all throughout the rest of this year and moving into next year. So, any other questions? Yeah.
Not a question, but I did want to say thank you so much for Farnsworth Park. I went right after 2 o'clock when it was reopened. It is beautiful. I have a young son. There were so many families that came. I got so much feedback about how beautiful it is and how it really sets in with the landscape of Farnsworth Park and the mountains. So applause to everyone that did a great job there. Is there going to be an official ribbon cutting?
Yeah, that's something that we're still working with the board office on, so we haven't given up on that, but that's something that we're trying to work with their schedule to make sure that we can have that happen.
And are you planning a snow day?
Yes. So we will be having a snow day at Loma Alta. And
You need more snow.
we will be getting more snow.
That's what I heard.
So
Okay.
we'll be getting a lot more snow than we had last year. I mean, if those that didn't see it, we had probably over 2,000 people there. It was a huge event. So we anticipated for that. And so it's going to be something a lot bigger for this upcoming December.
Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait.
I have a question. Really, it's about a topic that came up earlier in the meeting today. It was such a great job done at Farnsworth Park with the renovations and the upgrades. Charles White Park, we would like some assistance in how to best improve the physical plant. It's like we asked if we could have some money to improve Charles White Park. And they said, sure. What do you want to do? We need your help.
Well, that was what I
County has
said.
a
I was
plan.
mentioning it briefly. I can't really go into it too much until it's official, but that is on our scope to enhance Charles White. So the restrooms were kind of like phase one, and so we have other enhancements that are in process, but we can't really talk about it till it's official. But I will have more to disclose once it has been made official and everything is finalized. So, yeah.
That's good
So
to
we'll
hear.
have hopefully some more positive news in the near future.
yeah, Susie's been real positive about what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to help her out, move her along.
Yeah, but we encourage the input from the community. That always helps.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, and I want to say the young man that came last month, he was really good.
oh
Yeah. Yeah, he even helped us afterwards. Yeah, okay, thank you. All right, we have now the Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Sandra Thomas. You can, sure, sure.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone, and to all of my fellow council members. It is again my privilege to report to you on behalf of the Altadena Chamber of Commerce. For those of you who may not know, the only reason for a Chamber of Commerce to exist is to assist and help the businesses in the Altadena, for us in Altadena, Pasadena, and the surrounding communities. We have some exciting events coming. We've had some that we're just finished with, and I'm going to share a few of them with you right now. Tomorrow morning, October the 19th, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., we will host again Assembly Member Chris Holden. So if there's anybody that's hearing me that did not get to hear the wonderful presentation this evening, they can meet the Chamber of Commerce at the Altadena Town and Country Club in the morning, tomorrow morning, October 19th, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. 8 a.m. Thank you, Billy. He's helping me read this. I don't have my glasses. Okay, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., we will be hosting at the Altadena Town and Country Club. Okay, finally, on December the 3rd, our annual Sip and Shop holiday celebration will return to Mariposa Junction, and that will be from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'm looking at everyone that knows these things so they can. Well, as you can see, we are continuing to try to present things at the Chamber to meet the needs of everyone in our diverse community. And so we look forward to seeing each and every one of you when we plan these events. We look forward to seeing each and every one of you at these events. For more information, we ask that you would go to our website, www.altadenachamber.org. And in closing, I'd like to thank all of the council members here. I want to thank them for their dedicated service to our community. And to everyone else, I just thank you for giving me these few minutes. And Madam Chair, now it's back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that report. Okay, now we're moving on to ACAB. That's Doug Cauliflower. And People might not know what ACAB is.
I was going to start right there. Good suggestion. Thank you. ACAB is the Altadena Community Center Advisory Board, which consists of a representative from each of the tenant groups here in the community center. We had a board meeting on October 4th. We had some county officials that joined us to share with us some organizational changes that occurred within the county. The department that oversees this facility and the senior center has split into two departments. One of the departments that's now going to be overseeing this facility and the senior facility is called Aging and Disabilities Department. With respect to the community center, which provides office space to the tenant groups I just referenced, each one of those tenant groups has an agreement, a licensing agreement with the county, and we were informed that every one of those agreements is expired. So that's, in part of the reshuffle, that's one of their top priorities is to get us all back into compliance, and so we'll be reviewing those agreements and getting those updated. We don't anticipate any major changes. If there are, we'll certainly let you know. But that is kind of where that sits. But they've assured us that until those agreements are completed, we will just continue as business as usual. So that's not a lot of details, but that's as much as we have at this point in time. So if anybody has any questions, I'll do my best to answer. Otherwise, that's all I have to share. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to remind the community that if you have public comment, there are public comment cards on the back of the piano. They look like this. And we welcome your questions and comments, whether it's an agenda item or a non-agendized item. We don't respond to public comment during the meeting, but if you give us your contact information, then your Census Tract representative will get back to you after the meeting. And all you need to do is hand it to either Daryl or Billy at the end of the tables. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're moving on, and we're moving on to the exciting part of the meeting. And yeah, it's all exciting, but this is really exciting. Okay, we're going to have Sylvia Vega. I'm going to turn over the meeting to you for this part, for the election.
Now the exciting part of the meeting, right? Good evening. Our election is just around the corner, and a few dates, important dates to remember. Please mark your calendars for the NBBA Candidate Forum. It's going to be Wednesday, November 2nd from 6:30 to 8:30 at the main library. The forum will be in person and will also be streamed. Our voting dates will be Tuesday, November 8th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday, November 12th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Our new member swearing in will be Tuesday, December 20th here at the Town Council meeting. Our voting locations will be at the following places: Patty Cakes at 1900 Allen Avenue, the Altadena Main Library at 600 East Mariposa, and Bob Lucas Library at 2659 Lincoln. This evening, we have 11 candidates who will be running for the 2023 term. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to make their statement. And to keep things moving along, I'm going to ask Jorge Tobias Leal, who's running for 4601, and Hunter Pritchett to come forward, and he's running from Census Tract 4602, and also Deborah Ray.
Good evening, council members. Pleasure to be here with you all. I'm going to read my statement. I'm a California native of Hispanic heritage. I serve in the U.S. Army. I live and work here in Altadena, in Pasadena. I have been married 20 years. I have 3 children. Sebastian is 18. He's currently at ICE. He's going to be a chef pretty soon. Isabella, she's 15. She's a high school homeschooler. Sarai is 9. She's attending Domenito Elementary. My first job was at McDonald's by the General Hospital. And I've been serving the community ever since. I I have past leadership and consulting roles, which include serving in the advisory board of the Hispanics for the Los Angeles Opera. I've also worked with the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, and I'm also the CFO of the Optimum Leadership Consulting, which is a 501c3. I also serve in as an usher at the Pasadena Calvary Chapel for the past 23 years. I am a mortgage broker owner, and my first property here in Altadena was purchased for $1,250,000 on 20 East Mariposa. And then recently I just purchased 2062 Midweek Avenue, where I currently reside with my family. I visited the Siquirichi, which is in the High Sierras of Chihuahua, with the Tarahumaras at the beginning of this year. We're going back again there next year on January 4th to 6th. And one of the things I like to do is to serve. I love hard work, and this is something that I enjoy doing. So it would be a pleasure to serve with you all. And thank you very much to all of you, and God bless.
Thank you. Now we'll have Hunter Pritchett and Deborah Ray, who are running in Census Tract 4602.
Thank you for having me. Hi, Town Council, neighbors, new friends. I'm Hunter Pritchett. I'd be thrilled to represent 4602 at the ATC. I grew up here and abroad and resided in LA for the last 10 years, working in the culinary industry as a chef and a business owner. I spent a lot of my free time recreating in the forest and in Altadena, and then we decided to move here about 3.5 years ago. Since then, we've had a toddler, and he also flourishes in the community that we love so much. I work from home. I'm a private chef now and no longer in restaurants. It's fantastic. So I spend my time locally a lot. So I walk and jog the streets. I'm at every playground at Farnsworth, Charles White, Loma for hours and hours and hours and hours a day. I hike, I pick up litter with the Altadena Conservation Corps. On my trail runs, I always have a nice pocket full of cans and plastic and then put it in the bin. I like working towards social justice initiatives and then staying informed on sort of how the national, state, and local government decisions affect us in Altadena. I'll skip ahead. Thank you. I believe that we're a little underrepresented within LA County government and are entitled to a louder voice and greater transparency. And I think this has been exemplified best by LA County's problem-ridden transition between waste haulers and the months-long playground construction at Farnsworth without any real renderings of the finished products or goals or any sort of benchmarks being presented to the community. And now with the threat of these massive property developments at Nuccios, it's my opinion that we cannot afford to be poorly informed with these issues that will affect us greatly. I aim to continue the work of expanding the lines of communication between residents of 4602, LA County, and Pasadena governments. I hope to increase awareness of how Altadena residents are affected by LA County government and how we can be effective in holding our power accountable, their power accountable, while pursuing and creating lasting positive change in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Deborah Ray, and I'm also running to represent Census Tract 4602. Who am I? I have 2 minutes to tell you a little bit about me. I'm a longtime resident. I grew up in Altadena from the time I was 7 years old. I utilized the outstanding public school system that Pasadena Unified School District offered. I attended Washington Junior High and graduated from John Muir High School. I'm currently, yes, the Mustangs. I'm currently a homeowner and I'm your neighbor. Have been your neighbor for over 30 years because I did run away from Altadena for a couple of years, but I came home. I'm a retired social worker. I work for a nonprofit agency supporting and advocating for people with developmental disabilities. I am an advocate and I have represented individuals and families and their families to obtain services and resources so that they can access the community's resources. I contributed as a part of an interdisciplinary team, so communication is very, very important. And so to get feedback and to active listening, to hear what you want. I'm passionate, I'm community-minded, and I'm a doer. So why am I running to be a member of the Altadena? I want to be a voice in the community, contributing to ideas and getting things done that are important to all of us. Again, I know what Altadena looks like. Well, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I've been in this community for over 50 years. Okay, over 60 years. And how I became involved this time, I'm not really a politically active person. But what happened was, in January of this year, Altadena Drive underwent a repavement project between Fair Oaks Boulevard and Marengo. Following the completion of that project, around March or April of this year,
But time is up.
Oh, Lordy. Oh, I was going fast, too. Can I just say one thing? The Altadena, the street reflectors on Altadena Drive, west of Lake, east of Lake, no, west of Lake, that was because of me. I was told that you guys were working on this at one time before. Well, I worked with Public Works, Daniel Quintana. He and I talked, and I found out we got the street reflectors implemented on August 7th because we worked together as a team, and effectively, we can do it.
Thank you. As Madam Chair had mentioned, Council Member Nick Arnzen was not able to be here due to a family emergency. He wanted me to impress upon that this is extremely important to him, and he would be here if he could. He's never missed a meeting. And he said, if my family wasn't my priority and needed me more, I certainly would be there. And by no means do I want my absence to be read anything other than my commitment to my family, which I believe is reflected in my commitment to my community. So here's Nick's statement. I was elected to the town council a short 2 years ago, and I recognize the amount of knowledge I have gained concerning local issues and maneuvering the county system. My job is making sure the residents I serve are heard and that their safety and comfort are my priority. I sincerely believe my tract would be best served by me continuing this path in assisting them and helping to move forward Altadena with positive change. Last fall, I formed a communication committee, and we've been working hard these first 12 months. We've created a survey that's provided valuable resident info, like how they get their information, what issues concern them most, and what they would like to see more from the council. We encourage and help forum run a retreat to better connect our town council internally. Last month, we hosted a town hall, which I believe Nick. Last month, we hosted a town council, which I plan to create more of on a regular basis. And we've spent the past 6 months creating a couple welcome packs. One for new council members, the other is to warmly welcome new neighbors to our town, and includes loads of useful information about living in Altadena, as well as highlighting our many incredible local schools and businesses. One of the things I am most proud of is creating our high school internship program. In this first year, we've arranged a service work for over 60 students who have racked up an amazing total of over 500 hours serving our community and local nonprofit organizations. Many of these ongoing projects, and I have a wish list of many more things I'd like to get started on. I am hoping to have the opportunity with a re-election, but I have come to appreciate that the opportunities to enact positive change are not limited to a seat on the town council. We are all able to take part in improving our community, and I am committed to do that in the capacity I am able to do. Okay, thank you. Okay, for Census Tract 460302, can I please have Darlene Jones and Chris O'Malley?
Good evening, everybody. I want to thank you for this opportunity. My name is Darlene Jones Green, and I wanted to say I love Altadena. I raised my children here. I've owned property here for a few years, and certainly my life has been dedicated to public service. I'm running for council, Altadena Council, because I believe that I can make a difference. As a volunteer, I'm committed to different social and environmental purposes. I'm a realtor. Educationally, I have a master's degree in economic development. And to further my cause in terms of activism, I also have a doctorate in law. And so I believe it's important that I tell you that so that you can know that I have a different lens and to listening to different problems and things that may come up. My biggest concern is the Altadena public school system. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but my children grew up here. And I can tell you that the elementary schools, for instance, are really lacking. We have some schools that have closed, and I believe that together we can do something about that. The schools are great, the libraries are great, all of the things that we talk about that we have, but I believe that the schools, if we fail our children, we certainly have failed, right? So I am looking forward to be involved. I work for LASA, the Los Angeles Homeless Authority, and I have a different lens into solving some problems because of that part of my life. I believe that we can economically grow. As a part of this council, I will bring a different perspective to change. We're doing good, but I believe we can do better, right? I believe we can always improve. Together we can build a strong Altadena, and I see you in the future, and you look much better than you do right now. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Chris O'Malley. It is my pleasure to represent Census Tract 4603.02 on the council for the past 2 years. I have had the honor to be elected by my fellow council members to the executive committee where I serve as treasurer. As you may know, the council is a volunteer organization that's dependent upon organizations from the community. Under the leadership of Chair Veronica Jones, we've made several decisions to use those resources to increase our visibility in the community. You may have seen us out at community events in our branded tent. I am currently in the process of bringing our donations into the digital age so that we might be able to raise funds cashlessly. It is our hope that with more resources and greater visibility, the council will be better able to serve the Altadena's incredible residents of Altadena. My work on the Land Use Committee these last 2 years has been productive, fulfilling, and educational. I've worked to meet neighbors, gather opinions, provide feedback for the projects that have occurred in our census tract, everything from side yard setbacks and private residences to cell phone tower installations around our businesses and homes to conditional use permits for alcohol in our restaurants. This has been my favorite part of the job. Meeting and talking to people, introducing them to our work, conveying their ideas and concerns to the council and the county. For my next term, if I should be reelected, I would like to form a legislative affairs committee to pay attention to the Board of Supervisors and the state government, especially as their work impacts us here in Altadena. And additionally, now that I've just enrolled my son in PUSD, I would like to sit on the education committee and see what Altadena can do to support and improve our fantastic public schools. If you see fit to re-elect me to the council, I promise that I will continue working to represent the concerns of our tract to the county, to foster and encourage locally owned businesses, and to increase the visibility and viability of the council and our work. Thank you for your time and your vote.
I'm running for 4610 Census Tract. May I have Roderick Anthony Bryce and Jeff Cathcast?
Good evening. I'm Roderick Bryce. I'm a resident of Altadena. I've lived in Pasadena for over 20 years. I'm a manager for City of Hope. I work for Kaiser Permanente. I've been in process and improvements. I understand bureaucracy. I understand concerns of community. I've lived in this community and seen it change, and I actually like what it's become, and I want to be a part of that change. I was sitting there listening to everyone. I thought to myself, I had written up a nice little make me look better type of a scenario, but I'm going to be honest and say I'm a complainer. And I've been complaining a long time about issues, and I want to change them. And this is where I think I can do that. And I think I can do it with the energy I have and the background I have and the experience I have. And I think that if you can see that in me, I can make those changes, and I can turn this issue into reality and make things a lot brighter. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the community. Greetings to the town council. My name is Jeff Cathcart. I'm a lifelong Altadena resident. I'm a father of 6 wonderful children. I'm a barber who owns a barbershop up here in Altadena, lifelong barber. I got involved. I wanted to put my name in for candidacy because I want to make a change. I want to make a change in my community. I think that the area of Altadena I live in doesn't have enough resources, including Charles White Park, the trails off the area, education for our youth and activities have dwindled tremendously since I've been in Altadena. When I grew up in Altadena, there were exuberant and an extraordinary amount of activities for young people to participate in. I don't see that around here, at least on my side of town. So I put my name in because I'm willing to work hard, fight. I know we have some big challenges coming up, especially on the west side of Altadena, and I'm willing to put in the effort in the issues that need to be addressed. I'm willing to listen to the constituents of my neighborhood, their complaints. As a barber, that's what I do for a living, is listen to people complain and try to fix the situation. 2 years ago, or 2019, my barbershop was attacked, had arson, burned it down. The community of Altadena came forward, supported me, put money together, put me back in business. And now I only see fit for me to step forward and give back to my community the way they gave to me. Appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Representing 4611, we have our own Alan Peck.
Hello, I'm Alan Peck. I was born and raised in D.C., went to public schools, then went to school in Philly, University of Pennsylvania, graduated from Wharton School in '75. Much later, I got a master's in public administration from Cal State Dominguez Hills. Master's in public administration. Let's see, I have worked from the federal government, the largest municipality, probably, well, obviously in the country, or from there to the city of LA, which is not that small either. I've also in private industry, I've worked with AT&T, another huge organization, down to some of my own entrepreneurial enterprises, which could be considered micro. But moving past that, I wanted to become an Altadena town councilman because when I came here in LA in '88, but I came to Altadena in '95 with my wife and my infant child. And my infant child had such a wonderful experience growing up here. In fact, I'm looking forward to her being back here for Thanksgiving. She's coming with her child and her PhD, which I believe she wouldn't have had if she didn't have the background that came from here. And that's what I want to promote here. Now, in terms of what I've done in the 2 years that I've been a town councilman, is the primary job is to be the hands and the heart of the county, because we interface with the community. A large part of our job is dealing with requests, dealing with concerns that our constituents have. Okay. I have dealt with requests in dumping and abandoned buildings. We've worked with house parties to resolve issues with that. We've dealt with the unhoused and referred them to services. We've also got rid of a couple of cannabis dispensaries. But, and I plan on working like that in promoting the institutions that Altadena has that have done so much to make this a wonderful community. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Representing and running for 4612 is Doug Cauliflower.
Good evening. Thank you. As Sylvia said, my name is Doug Cauliflower, and I first came to Altadena in 1984 to operate the Altadena and Eaton Canyon golf courses. I first became active in the community in the late 80s when I joined the Altadena Chamber Board, and have been active in the community ever since. I moved to Altadena in 1992, got married, and started a family. I operated the golf courses until the fall of 2012, and in 2013 was appointed the general manager of the Stevenson Ranch Golf Club up in the Central Valley. Unfortunately, in 2015, the owners decided to close the golf course. I had acquired my real estate license in 2013, and after much contemplation, decided to begin a new career in real estate. I returned to Altadena in October of 2015. I rejoined the Chamber Board, joined the Town Council as a land use representative for Census Tract 4612. I served the chamber as chamber president for 2018 through 2021 and remain on the board. In 2020, I was elected to serve Census Tract 4612. In 2017, I joined the Rotary Club of Altadena and currently serving as the president. I have been an entrepreneur all my life. My background gives me a unique set of skills that I believe will benefit our community and my constituents. First, as a lessee of 2 golf courses owned by the county, I have a unique perspective and knowledge of how county government works. Secondly, as a local business owner, I understand the challenges that many businesses face. And lastly, in my role as a realtor, I understand the importance of a vibrant community and attracting residential and commercial investment in our community. While our community is a wonderful place to live and work, we have our share of challenges, and there are always opportunities for improvement, and I look forward to continuing my efforts in that direction. Thank you very much.
Unfortunately, Diane Markison, who's running for 4613, is out of town, and so Victoria will be reading her statement.
Thank you, Sylvia. From Diane Markison. I have lived in Altadena for 25 years. I have been an Altadena Town Council representative for Census Tract 4613 for the past 12 years, a member of the Land Use Committee for 17 years, and chair of the committee for the last 6. I also served as chair of the Altadena Town Council. In my position as chair of the Land Use Committee, I've seen Altadena develop in many wonderful ways and have been glad to have been a part of representing Altadena in our interactions with Los Angeles County. In Altadena's future are more projects for low-income housing. If re-elected, although with new state laws, the community doesn't have a lot of say in some of these projects, I hope to be able to encourage the developers to ensure that the buildings are in keeping with the character of the community as much as possible. I also look forward to continuing to help my census tract in resolving issues with local government as I have for the past 17 years. As a member of the Altadena Town Council, I have been privileged to be an active member of my local community and interact with various county departments to help neighbors solve issues, including having dangerous county trees trimmed, interacting with building and safety property rehab to have derelict properties cleaned up, requesting that CHP actively monitor speeding vehicles to minimize the dangers to pedestrians and bicyclists, assisting on regional planning code enforcement issues, helping new businesses in my census tract navigate county requirements. I have also facilitated communications between neighbors and the Altadena station regarding crime in the area and passed along their suggested steps that can be taken to reduce neighborhood crime. I would like to continue to have the opportunity to positively interact with my local census tract community, as well as all of Altadena and the Altadena Town Council member representing Census Tract 4613.
I'd like to thank all the candidates this evening for coming out and sharing with us your statements. To the community, please go out and vote on voting day. And that wraps up my report.
Okay, thank you. And I encourage all of you to get out and get your flyers and information out to all your neighbors and meet the, it's a good time to meet your neighbors. It's a good time to go out and give your flyers and meet the people you may be serving. So thank you, and thank you for even considering, and we have other opportunities too that I'd like to make available to anyone who is interested. Even if you don't win on the town council, there's still ways to work with us. That gives you a good background in what we do. But thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on here to our next committee report, which is our education report, which is Victoria Knapp.
The Education Committee met on September 21st. We are working on an updated map of the public schools that serve Altadena in light of closure of Franklin. Also, the Education Committee is supporting Neighbors Building a Better Altadena, otherwise known as NBBA, who is hosting the PUSD School Board District 1 Candidate Forum tomorrow, Wednesday, October 19th from 6:30 to 8:30 in the library at Elliott Arts Magnet. This is the only Altadena-specific candidate forum, and we hope you will come out to hear from the candidates. I also wanted to share that Elliott was awarded a $5 million federal arts grant, so they will be able to continue to build upon the previous grant that they had that was a 3-year grant and continue programs from Altadena Arts Magnet into Elliott, including the French dual language program. That concludes my report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, Safe Streets Committee, which is Dorothy Wong. You ready?
It'll take a couple minutes to warm that up. I can kind of...
Okay, so then we'll move on to general comment, public comment. And is that the only one? You have two? I'll read them. Is that...
Sarah Wolf, are you still here? Please come up. And you have 2 minutes to make your statement.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Wolf, and I live in Janes Village in Altadena. First of all, I just want to express my thanks to Nick Arnzen and Dorothy Wong for their participation in the Knoll Montessori Walk to School Day that happened on October 12th. Walk to School Day, for those of you who don't know, is an international day where students all over the world walk to school. And it is a first step in helping parents and students and the community think about how we walk safely through our neighborhoods and to our schools, to our parks, to our libraries, and other public places. Knoll Montessori is on East Loma Alta Drive. And so the students, we had them gather at Farnsworth Park, and they walked up Marengo. Everyone got there very safely. 39 students participated, as well as about a dozen parents. And that represented about 75% of the entire student body. So it demonstrated a really high level of interest and enthusiasm for walking to school, which is fantastic. Since the event was so successful, I was inspired to walk home myself after the event. However, my walk home was not that successful. On several occasions, I ran out of sidewalk to walk on, or the street just didn't have any sidewalk, and I had to cross a couple busy streets with no crosswalks. So I'm sure many of you encounter similar issues when you're out walking your dogs and visiting neighbors, or just wanted to go for a stroll through your neighborhood. So if Altadena is serious about improving safety for its residents, then I really want to advocate for creating safe routes for all modes of transportation, whether it's walking, biking, people taking the bus, people riding horses. And in addition to the work that Dorothy's doing on the Traffic Safety and Mobility Committee, I would like to see that the Altadena Town Council take up this issue in a future public meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. And we do have, we have had safe walks to schools, right? Dorothy and I have walked, I have done them, so yes. You should fill out a public comment card. Did you not fill one out?
First time at this kind of council meeting.
Okay. Yeah, grab one from the piano. We'll
get back to it.
Okay, Billy, did you have a public comment? Yes, I do. Can you do it really quick?
Yeah, it's going to be really quick.
Really quick.
This comes from actually Christmas Tree Lane, who did a presentation earlier. So they just want this read into record. That the Christmas Tree Lane Association and the community gardens were the beneficiaries of a pancake breakfast that was held recently at Grocery Outlet parking lot on Lake Avenue and was sponsored by the Altadena Rotary Club and the Altadena Sheriff Department's Mountain Rescue. This happened 2 Saturdays ago, and it was quite successful, and it was certainly appreciated by Christmas Tree Lane to help further funding. So that was all.
Okay. Dorothy, are you ready now? Courage?
Otherwise, we can, if you pull the...
Come on up. Let him, Dorothy, let him go, and then we can take his card. Go.
Give it to Daryl.
Yeah. And go ahead on and speak, Courage.
Just wanted to take a really quick minute to say thank you. I met Nick Arnzen early this year because he had put together Altadena's very first LGBTQ Pride festival, and it was very successful. There were hundreds of people there, but also that is such an incredibly important thing to do for any community, especially ones that are a little more outside heavily urban areas. And I thought all of the work that he had done had been incredible. And so I just definitely wanted to extend my thanks to him for organizing that and everyone involved and making that festival happen, because it was fantastic. And so thank you to Nick and anyone else that made it happen. Thank you.
And thank you. And we also want to know, can we put, is it okay if we put your, I don't know if it was a poem or your writing? Yeah.
Can we put it on the Altadena?
The one, yeah, not, so, okay, that's good. That's good, good. Yeah, that's good. Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for staying awake and all of this as we hit towards the end. So I just wanted to do a quick report. The Safe Streets Committee really focuses on getting community to provide, to take action related to understanding really how traffic safety and mobility works. So this year, so we meet the last Thursday of the month, so October 27th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. You can join the meeting. And this year, we kind of took a little bit of a break during COVID, and we started back up again with Safe Routes to Schools as a great tool. So on California Clean Air Day was also Altadena Clean Air Week. And so ultimately, we had a week's worth of activities, a variety of organizations focused on community air, clean air, and we did a walk to school Wednesday on the same day as California Clean Air Day, October the 5th. So this started last year on the first ever walk to school day, and the parents got together and they do walking Wednesdays. So on this day, the kids made some signs. Highway Patrol was out there helping us. The Altadena Bicycle Club and a variety of parents got together, and we walked. And again, this is all building. So there has been concerns in the community about crosswalk safety. So I want to give props to Victoria Knapp and the work that she has been doing also with the safety. So look, Victoria, there'll be some cool pictures. So they set off, and there we go. The lovely first amazing crosswalk. Is this Santa Rosa? Yes. And so now we have added visibility at our key intersections. So the kids had a great time. I'm going to have to train them. They have to hold hands across the crosswalk. I teach bicycling and pedestrian safety myself for my job. So again, Alan Peck, Councilmember Peck, came out, gave a rah-rah speech, and walked with his community. And so that was really great. And the youth love to be the crossing guards, by the way. So anyway, so just a reminder, this is one of the great tools that can really help traffic safety in Altadena is Safe Routes to Schools, which is an active transportation-based program that enables schools, parents, and the community leaders to encourage children to safely walk and bike to school through infrastructure improvements and education programs. So we did do some walk audits and we will be continuing walk audits with the two Odyssey schools, and then Avison. I think that was it on there. So I just wanted to share that because it was a magical moment. We all talk about wanting to be together and part of the community. And then again, as Sarah had brought up, Nick Arnzen came out, and a good turnout for Knoll. So let's get more schools walking and biking to school. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think that ends our committee reports, and we already did our general public comment. We did have, Dorothy, do you still have your census tract report you wanted to do?
So our census tract is 460301, by the way. No one is running right now for that seat, so consider the next phase of representation for 460301. And also through the multi-day extreme heat week plus that we had, I talked about that a little earlier, SCE. I just want to make it short and sweet. After community collaboration, voices and everyone coming together that SCE has now identified the Meadows community to get an upgraded circuit from 4 kV to 16 kV. And the plan will start hopefully in 2023, and there will be a future meeting. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, we've done a lot tonight, and it is now 9:03, and the next item on the agenda is adjournment. Okay. All those in favor?
Yeah.
All those opposed? She is. She is. Okay, thank you.